Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Sure do.
Sure do. I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda, coming at you from the crack of dawn at 11 a.m.
This is obscenely early.
My God.
I straightened my hair before 9 a.m. I feel like I'm in corporate America again. I don't like it.
I showered and did my hair yesterday, and then this is just like the brushed out, slept on result that we're working with here.
It looks really cute.
And I have a clip. I have a little clip. I couldn't bring myself to put makeup on.
Good.
Can't, won't. It's 2025. I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it. I'm going full Pamela Anderson.
Yes, good.
Natural.
I've been really into skincare.
Mm-hmm. You're
Like
glowing.
I have no fewer than 6 products on my face under any sort of tinted moisturizer, concealer, anything.
Oh, yeah. This is the way we have to exist now if we want to have skin.
Yeah, but I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's nice. I have my serums and my under eye creams on right now, too. I just didn't put any makeup on over it because you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them all.
Fuck them all.
Fuck them
Okay.
all.
Speaking of fucking them all and serums, etc., remaining youthful, might we say, we have a very special fan pick today
Okay.
from listener Molly Walker.
Yes.
Molly selected the topic of detox crimes.
Yeah. I guess remaining youthful, there are a lot of ways you could interpret the word detox.
Like a health thing. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I mean,
was thinking of like a juice cleanse.
She picked my fan pick case, and the detox connection is in like the world of addictionology, which is like a whole thing, obviously. But yeah, there are certainly like wellness, quote unquote, detoxes that might be total bullshit, might be beneficial. Who knows?
We'll get to all of it.
Great.
Molly actually suggested my case too.
I love it.
Got a little case. Molly, you're full of ideas.
You are, Molly. Mouths.
Mouths to the walls.
Mouths to the wows.
Before we get to detoxing, Amanda, how about you tell us how to tox in the first place?
Well,
with our wine crime pairing.
Molly also recommended we go NA this episode, which I appreciate, especially since we're recording it at 11 a.m. And, you know, I know she suggested talking about NA beer or wine, which like I have done before. I'm not so much of an NA beer girly. My husband likes the NA beers, but that's not really my jam. But I wasn't really like that big of a beer drinker in the first place. I'm like a cocktail bitch. Like wine and cocktails are where my bread and butter are. But there is nothing I love more, honestly, from like if it's really good, the flavor standpoint, but the convenience standpoint, than a craft cocktail in a can.
Yeah.
Which kind of like breaches the gap between the cocktail beer zone. So I went on the search for canned mocktails.
Wow.
And found this great article from last year from thekitchen.com where essentially someone did exactly what I didn't have the patience to do, which is like try all of these popular canned mocktails that are on the market right now and give recommendations on what they think are the best. And I want to go over some of the standouts. So our brave Mackenzie Filson went on the hunt for like the best canned mocktails. She tried 41 different canned mocktails.
My God, good thing they were NA.
Yeah. Some did have like CBD or THC, so I'll make sure to flag that if that's in one of the selections, but most of them are just straight up NA, no altering substances, and just delicious. But I'm not going to go over all 41, and neither did she. She said these are the 8 that she found were like the standout best ones. Some I've heard of, some I have not. So I'm curious if you've heard of any of these. The Recess Zero Proof Lime Margarita.
I've heard of Recess.
It's infused with Gaiusa and adaptogen, and it is a little bit sparkling. It looks really delicious. A 12-pack retails for like $30. These aren't cheap, but they are like really nice, high-quality products. So if you're a margarita girly, the Recess Zero Proof Lime Margarita might be the one for you. If you're more of a mojito girly, the ISH Mindful Drinking Co. non-alcoholic mojito with ISH Caribbean spiced spirit. I don't know what that means. Mint and lime. It's like a fresh Caribbean breeze for your mouth. So
sounds good.
The writer says, weird flex, I know, but my first alcoholic beverage ever was a mojito. That's really cute. It's cute that it wasn't like UV blue in a closet in a basement at a house party like it was for us.
Just a pitcher of beer that you get for free if you drink it in under 2 minutes.
She says, sure, that's like saying my first word was regatta, but it just is the truth. I went into tasting all the varieties of NA mojitos with a lot of expectations. The one that really mimicked the balance of a well-made mojito, Ish's Mojito. The proprietary Caribbean spice NA spirit nails the rummy backbone of a classic mojito. The Ish Mojito also stands out for its peppy bursts of spearmint and tinges of fresh lime. If you, like me, enjoy when canned mocktails don't shy away from adding a bit of faux alcohol burn or bitterness, I think you'll be as bowled over by Ish's full selection too. Bonus, the Ish Mojito also looks pretty damn near identical to an actual mojito when put in an ice-filled highball glass with mint, meaning it's a great mocktail for when you want to really blend in amongst a less than dry crowd. I think that's kind of a cool element to it. And I am seeing in mocktails the use of different components that do give that like
the burn a little bit.
The burn, the bitterness.
I like that.
And yeah, I mean, it gives it kind of an I don't know the science behind like what they're putting in that does that isn't alcohol, but it exists. And it's very creative and clever, and I think that is super fucking cool.
Yeah.
This I have tried is the Phony Negroni. This is from Saint Agristis, and I'm not really a Negroni person, but I do like this. Right. It's in this really cool bottle that is like, do you remember when we used to get the like BJ's wine coolers? In the glass bottles.
That are kind of like stout.
Yeah.
Kind of like short.
Yeah, this is kind of like that, but it's like triangular and spherical and doesn't have any other like dips or ridges in the glass. Like I was drawn to this immediately when I saw it at a bar because I was like, oh my God, that looks crazy. And I didn't even know that it was NA. And they were like, yeah, it's an NA Negroni. And I was like, I want to fucking try that. And it was quite good. And I'm not usually like a Negroni person. Maybe I just... because I don't actually really love the alcohol that makes up a Negroni, not having it.
An NA tastes better.
It makes it taste better for me.
That's good.
She said these bottled NA Negronis pack in all that I know and love in a classic Negroni: herbal juniper, the bite of bitter orange, and subtle florals. In other words, this was a drink concocted by the best of all people, complete drink nerds, and I love them for that. So it does capture those like aromatics and that like herb. It's kind of like an herbal aperitif kind of vibe, but without the like gut punch like sting that I usually get from a Negroni that makes it like so bitter that I'm like, I don't really.
You can actually taste
and
the
enjoy
subtle
it.
flavors and not be overwhelmed by the booze part of it.
Exactly. Okay, I feel like I'm seeing this craft cocktail brand kind of going viral like everywhere. It's called Gia or Gaia, Ghia. And they specialize in more of like the spritz side of mocktails. So the one she highlighted here is the I'm going to just say Gia sumac chili le spritz. So
wow.
That sounds amazing. She says, I'm not proud to admit this, but it must be said because it really shows how much I love Gia's newest Le Spritz canned mocktail. Recently, I was giving
that logo.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen it everywhere.
Vintagey, like 60s.
Diagonal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The branding is adorable. Maybe that's fucking why we're seeing it everywhere. Recently, I was giving a friend a few cans of my favorite mocktails as she was wanting to try out sober curiosity herself. Of course, I curated a delicious selection I thought she would like, except I completely kept all the Gia cans to myself. So I love that she's like, I'm going to put together this really nice curated bunch of NA beverages, but the ones that I'm obsessed with, I'm just going to hoard all for myself, which is like so something I would do.
Absolutely.
I bought you this and I loved it, so I kept it. Before you say it, I just know you'd do the same, especially with the sumac and chili flavor. What starts as a subtle kick of heat quickly blossoms into a tangy bit of sunshiny sumac that's juicy without being cloyingly sweet. Fucking yum.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like tasting fireworks, and it made me briefly consider signing up for salsa lessons. Just heed my advice and be sure to keep a stash of these in a secret place. I mean, everything I have like seen and read about this Gia brand of NA canned cocktails is like everyone fucking loves it. There is a New Orleans crafted cocktail. It's called mocktail. They're booze-free cocktails, and this one is called the Eye Opener. It's a tangerine basil elixir.
Oh yeah, fuck
right
me up.
Right?
Oh, that sounds so good.
I cannot. She says, simply put, Mockley's canned cocktails are on a mission to not just mimic popular cocktail flavors, but instead opt for flavors that can stand on their own without comparison. As my favorite of the bunch, Eye Opener blends bright, juicy tangerine with herbal basil that feels like you're drinking the first warm day that finally breaks through winter, but in a can. Why am I going to cry?
I'm gonna cry.
My seasonal depression.
I'm tearing up.
Fucking add to cart.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The day will come.
Mockley Eye Opener. I'm literally getting emotional.
I know.
That was like so beautiful. Okay, if you are a THC mocktail girly, this one was recommended. It's the Heirloom, AYRLOOM Micro Honey Crisp. This is a hemp-infused beverage. So I think it's only got 1 milligram of THC in it, and then 15 milligrams of CBG, which is similar to CBD, but it's kind of like the Delta 9 of CBD, where it's like a hemp-derived CBD, so it's technically classified in a different way.
It's like one molecule different.
Exactly. And this is more, this is more for like your calm, your relaxation. This is a beverage that's going to have stuff like adaptogens, botanicals, it's kind of like the crunchy granola wellness relaxation kind of drink, if that's your jam. She said, unlike many other canned THC mocktails I tried, Heirloom comes in a can with just 1 milligram THC and 15 milligrams of CBD per mini can, whereas others range from 2 to 2.5 milligrams of THC. So if you do want something that is gonna bring some of that relaxation, but not make you feel altered really in any way. This
not make your eyes hot.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a good reach for you. It's an easier dose to handle for those who are lightweights or want to drink another one later. The Heirloom cans provided the most balanced high with a smoother onset. Drinkable edible THC products hit your bloodstream a bit more rapidly than smoking alone. I don't find that to be true.
I find that it's the opposite for me.
Smoking hits me immediately the hardest. Then drinking, because liquid metabolizes way faster than like a gummy. Then gummies. Those usually take me like 25 to 30 minutes to start feeling anything.
Even
and then
like 45. Sometimes I like totally forget I ate one, and then I'll be at the antique mall like, wow.
1000%. And that's my experience with like baked goods too. Where I'll eat a brownie and then not feel anything. And then like 2 hours later, and I guess like, hello, gastroparesis, my digestion is slow. So like, of course, it's going to take for fucking ever for that to metabolize. And then it's like, oh shit, I'm on the moon. So, eat and drink responsibly. But yeah, that was a good recommendation. Another one that I actually haven't tried, but I am a massive fan of Spindrift sparkling water.
Yes.
They make a no-hito.
Ooh.
So this is Spindrift sparkling water with lime and mint. So it's like all the fixins of a mojito without the rum. And it's like a nice tart lime. It has, not too much sweetness. That's one of the things I love about the Spindrifts is that like I can still drink them even though I'm diabetic without having to like dump insulin in my system because it's usually only like 3 or 4 carbs. It's just like a little bit of fruit juice that's in there. Mojitos can be so sweet. Like if you still want to make a legitimate, I guess, or alcoholic mojito, this could also be a good mixer where it's like you can find a little balance because mojitos have that like muddled like sugar and stuff in the bottom.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to try that at some point, but I definitely want to pick up the no-hito lime and mint Spindrift. Filio, this is a little bit more of a splurge, they said, for cans, but the Filia Fiore Frizzante. Not like we just got back from Italy or anything. This is supposed to, she says, mimic traipsing into a hole-in-the-wall seaside Italian trattoria, aperitivo in hand, dressed in a sundress, showing off just the right tan to sunburn ratio.
Oh my God.
Again, sounds like heaven. Yeah. Perky, crackling bubbles on my taste buds don't hide anything, but rather reveal a lemon and bitter orange juiciness that counters the rosy, floral top notes that make this a spritz for the crowds who want more citrus sweetness over something more classically bitter forward. So if you're a little bit on the sweeter side with your cocktails, this Filia Fiore Frizzante might be perfect for you. To balance out this daydream, should you choose to float on in it, be sure to go full aperitivo hour by coupling the Filia Fiore Frizzante with a bowl of salty kettle-cooked chips. Girl,
twist my arm.
Yeah, she's speaking your fucking language.
Jesus. So that was one of my favorite things about Italy. They give you little snacks.
They did.
You just stop for a drink. You get snacks everywhere.
Potato chips for free at like every single bar you grabbed a glass of wine from.
Yeah. And remember that one, when you were getting your tattoo and I stopped and had a drink, they brought me a full tray, 3 different types of hummus with all sorts of vegetables.
Tapenade, bread.
You came and met me and you were like, oh, did you order food? I was like, no, bitch. I ordered 1 cocktail.
Yeah. And then I was like, this would cost $25 at a like beautiful little bistro in the United States. And they just plopped this on your table for fucking free.
I know. I was like, I didn't order this. They're like, you got a drink.
They're like,
this is what you get. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like their version of bar peanuts, but it's so elevated and it hasn't had like 5,000 people's hands in it.
Yeah.
We need to move to Italy.
Seriously.
Anyway, I thought that list was really fun and showed like a wide variety of different canned cocktails. And I have, said it many times before. I think it's super cool how like sober and NA culture is becoming so much more mainstream and so much more accepted. And I really embrace that, even though I'm not like a sober person. I often choose not to drink alcohol just for my own benefit and my own health, and having things like this available. And I live with a sober person. So things that have like been a huge game changer are like the THC beverages, different kinds of sparkling water. I mean, Bill was such a beer guy that like he goes through sparkling water like an absolute fiend, but it's it gives that satisfaction of like, I'm cracking it. I'm getting that effervescence. I'm getting that like popping bubble cold hit to the back of my throat. It's like, I just think that kind of stuff is very cool to help people with their transition in these changes that they're choosing to make. And I think that's fucking awesome.
Also, the 2 summers ago when I was pregnant that summer and we were doing like shows all over, particularly when we were in New York City in the July, there were mocktails every single place we went, and they were all so delicious and like just every bit as carefully made as any other thing on their menu.
It's really common now to see a full mocktail section on a cocktail menu, which I really appreciate. Like not even that long ago, like pre-COVID, I feel like I never saw this. It was like very rare to see this.
And like sipping a mocktail, there's something about it. It's just like, it makes it kind of slow down a little bit. You're just enjoying all the different layers of flavors and everything. And then you're not like, oh,
I feel like shit and I have heartburn and now I can't drive home.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, we will definitely post that link like with our sources. If you want to check it out, it's a really, really cool list. And then it does have links to where you can buy those products. A lot of them can be ordered online. There are a lot of them you can just search and find at your like local retailers. But I thought that list was really cool and had a lot of different types of NA beverages for like kind of everybody who likes any kind of cocktail. So I thought I would share it. And I hope you all enjoy. And I'm drinking some mushroom adaptogen tea out of my toe beans mug.
Beautiful. Some mud water. Yeah, that also, these kind of drinks give you an option that isn't water or pop.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're just a more elevated, like people
a little more mature.
Yeah, people who don't drink alcohol still deserve to have like a unique, elevated,
an adult beverage,
adult experience. And especially if you're going somewhere fancy where the food is really, you know, expertly curated and there are all these opportunities for pairings. I think having options like that for people who don't drink is just like equitable service for everybody.
Mocktail pairings. That'd be fun. Pairings.
So yeah, cheers to not drinking alcohol today.
Yup. I had my belly scope yesterday.
Ugh.
A little sore down there.
So not fun. I have to get an endoscopy in February.
Yeah.
You know, we're pushing 40. These are the things that happen.
Oh. They gave me ketamine.
Oh, yeah.
What fucks me up all day.
Yeah, you were a little loopy yesterday. It was really cute. I liked your voice memos and your videos.
I just didn't. I was over texting, so I just sent Amanda a bunch of voice memos and videos.
I'm here for it. You had
just on the couch.
Like brilliant ideas. You were cooking. I was like, let her cook.
I did have some good ideas yesterday.
You fucking did. You cooked, and I was here for it.
Ketamine, man.
Well,
don't recommend, but had to get it for medical reasons. Kind of fun.
Under the right circumstances, taken responsibly, and advised by a medical professional, everything it can be just fine. And with that said, should we take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors?
Yeah.
Okay. Life can be unpredictable, but securing your family's financial future doesn't have to be. And that's where Fabric by Gerber Life comes in. Fabric offers modern, flexible term life insurance designed to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're planning for the future or just want a little extra peace of mind, Fabric makes protecting what matters most simple and stress-free.
You know what? Being an adult and getting all your adult stuff in order can be really overwhelming.
Rough.
And I really appreciate companies like Fabric and Gerber Life to just make this as easy as possible so that you can just feel good and confident about your life, your situation, your family's support and protection. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and on your schedule. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is right now. Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it might not offer enough protection for your family, and it also might not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day.
Heck
Fabric has partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families just like yours and mine for over 50 years. There's no risk. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel anytime you want. They have over 1,900 five-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent, so you don't have to just take it from us. Fabric was designed for busy parents like you and me, and it's more than just life insurance. They've got free digital wills, access to investment accounts to invest for your kids' future, and so much more. And you can manage it all right from your phone.
So join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/gals. That's meetfabric.com/gals, MEET fabric.com/gals. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Price is subject to underwriting and health questions. There is nothing worse than going on the road to do wine and crime shows and you're super jazzed about a show. And the morning of the show, you wake up and you've got a huge pimple right in the middle of your face.
Just a little volcano.
This has happened to me on the road so many times. Obviously, stress, the amount of times I'm wearing makeup when I'm doing shows, like versus when I'm just at home, being out of your routine, like so many things can affect your skin that you don't really think about. Traveling, you might be in different weather, different humidity, like everything can affect your skin. And feeling confident in your skin starts with getting expert care so that you have your arsenal for when those unexpected things can come in and maybe mess up your beautiful face day. And that's why we're excited to partner with Apostrophe. Whether you're dealing with acne, signs of aging, or dark spots, Apostrophe helps you get access to the right treatments for your skin.
Like from your home.
Yeah.
It is so simple.
For real.
Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne and dermatology treatment for your unique skin. You don't have to leave your house and go to a dermatologist, make an appointment. Maybe it's out of your network. Who knows? This is all from your home, which is our favorite thing.
A favorite.
So all you do is you simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history. Then you take a few pictures of yourself, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you in a very short amount of time. You couldn't get this results from an in-person
appointment this fast.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne, even back, chest, dare I say butt acne. This stuff treats breakouts from head to toe. And when you're going through puberty and you first start breaking out, how mortifying it is.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm entering perimenopause and it's flashbacks, some things that I experienced before, I'm starting to experience again now.
Yeah, re-traumatized.
Yup.
I'm just thinking how amazing Apostrophe would have been from when I was 13 or 14 years old. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to look a doctor in the eye and talk about your most embarrassing thing. So Apostrophe is good. It's going to be good for you. It could be good for your teenagers. It's just incredibly simple. You got to check them out.
And we have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/wine when you use our code WINE. That's a savings of $15. This code is only available to our listeners. So to get started, just go to apostrophe.com/wine and click Get Started. Then use our code WINE at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode. Okay, welcome back. Lucy, what is our background? Maybe psych. And it sounds like a little fan picker case dabble for Detox Crimes.
Got a little case for us. I feel like we've talked about, I didn't really want to focus so much on detoxing from an addiction.
Sure.
A rehab situation today. So we're going to touch on that, but I'm also going to talk about the health stuff that I mentioned. And then we'll dive into a very specific kind of detoxing. Okay, starting at the top. In general, what does detox even mean?
Good question.
So the University of Chicago Medicine calls it, quote, the process of removing toxins, a generic term for something that makes you feel unwell, from the body. So just to differentiate a little bit, your own body is designed to perform detoxification in your liver and your kidneys, which filter blood and separate harmful substances to be processed and removed from the body.
Yes. And every time I have diarrhea, I call it a detox.
Yes. So that's a natural, your body is naturally detoxifying itself.
I'm detoxing a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh my God. The other day, I forgot why we were talking about this. I was talking to Corey about having a really good poop. And I was like, oh yeah, that afterburn. And he was like, if you have afterburn, you should probably see a doctor. And I was like, nuh-uh. Like, you have a really good poop and your butthole just feels a little bit hot afterwards. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Like an afterglow. It feels good.
I mean, yeah, it's like a buzz.
Yeah.
When you've had like a solid shit that like scraped everything out on the way out.
And it just like stretched your butthole out a little bit, and then it snapped right back. And then it's like a little bit warm.
Yeah.
No, he had no idea what I was talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't... It's so tough because I sometimes question whether anyone, myself included, but certainly anyone in my like very intimate circle of people has ever had a healthy shit in our lives. And so we all have these like different versions of like what a good shit feels like. And we consistently shock each other. And like none of us are on the same page. So I do understand what you're saying. And I also understand why he might not get what the fuck that means.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing both sides here.
That's fair.
I'm being very Erica Jane in the Kyle Dorit situation. Okay.
Her 1,000-yard stare in the last episode when she was talking to Dorit.
Okay. Also, I know that this has nothing to do with fucking anything, but like, can we just talk about how Kyle reading the text at the relaxation party? It was a screenshot of the text, and you could see all of her pictures at the bottom, which is so fucking sus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me you don't want anyone to accidentally scroll through your text with PK without telling me you don't want anyone to accidentally
Or like how
scroll.
far up you'd have to scroll, like how often you talk to him.
Yes.
It was fishy for sure.
It's so weird. And she really is making herself look guilty, even if she didn't do anything untoward. Like, I get it. It's a tough situation to be in when you're friends with people that are going through a separation. But like, your reaction, like, you've been on the show for 14 fucking seasons. You should know that you're making yourself look bad.
Real bad.
And like, Dorit is really good at making herself look bad. So when you're making yourself look worse than Dorit, something's off. Anyway, that was my tangent. There will be more. Continue about detox.
Okay. We've hit on a lot so far. Detoxing, body, pooping, cleansing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the notion of cleansing oneself of unidentified and or harmful toxins gained a lot of popularity in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Like the health form of detoxing.
Yep.
But purging as a medical practice goes back a long time.
Okay.
And you know I got really into this.
I bet. There's ghosts in your blood. Do cocaine about it.
Exactly. Heroic medicine. They called it heroic medicine. And they started calling it heroic medicine like later once it began being studied as like a whole.
Okay.
I think because it was so fucking intense that you had to be kind of heroic to fucking go through it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so also known as heroic depletion theory, advocated for really aggressive bloodletting, sweating, and purging. So that would be like vomiting and or shitting to shock the body back into health.
Okay.
So it wasn't just this humoral medicine. So like the 4 humors.
Yep.
You know, like it's black bile, yellow bile, blood, and pus, I think.
You love your humors.
I do love me humors. So they would like, back in medieval times, way back, they would think that your health was a matter of those 4 humors being like in harmony with each other, like balanced. Mm-hmm. So if you had a stomach ache, for example, they'd be like, oh, you have too much yellow bile. We have to, do some bloodletting.
Okay.
To balance your humors back out, to get rid of your stomach ache.
Leak it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this was that, like, amped way the fuck up.
Okay.
So you would be sweated with a blistering burn agent, like something called cantharidin.
Okay.
It was like a enzyme from stinging beetles. So they would like apply that to your skin, so it would burn your skin and you'd sweat.
Oh my God.
This was just one method. There were many methods to all of these things, but this is like the severity of the purging.
Of the delusion.
Mm-hmm. They would also drain up to 80% of your blood volume.
How do people survive 80% of their blood volume being drained?
Lots didn't.
That tracks.
I think if you do it slowly enough, your body can kind of like
regenerate,
but I don't want to. Actually, there's a picture I have on the drive. I think it's called breathing the vein or letting the vein breathe or something like that. It's like a medieval illustration. Breathing a vein.
Okay, this guy does not look like a doctor, and the guy being breathed looks very unhappy. I love this painting so fucking much. This is absurd. Why does the doctor have spurs on his boots?
I don't know.
The doctor is in like an orange wig with like the little rows of curls at the ears. He is completely red in the face. His mouth is a little tiny butthole and his eyes are completely wide open with like the whites all the way around it. He's in like a jaunty little outfit, but he's standing like very weird and crooked with his feet splayed in these
his gross little butthole mouth.
He has the grossest butthole mouth. And his boots are giving Pirates of the Caribbean, but with like Western spurs on the heels for no reason. Yep. He's holding a quite lovely ceramic painted bowl and holding up his patient's arm that appears to just have a hole punched in it at the elbow, and a stream of blood is popping out and falling perfectly into the bowl. While the
rapidly filling ceramic bowl.
Yeah, while the patient in like a Santa hat is looking away with his eyes closed and the biggest agonizing frown.
And wearing Rothy's clogs.
He is looking like he's rocking some Rothy's clogs. This is absurd, and I want a tattoo of it.
Yep.
Immediately.
I knew you would like that.
I love this.
So that is... that's an illustration that I got when I Googled heroic medicine.
I am obsessed. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
That was a gift.
They would also have you ingest calomel, which is basically mercury.
Oh, no.
To cleanse your intestines.
Y'all, we were shooting in the dark. We had no clue.
And I just said I got my EGD or whatever the fuck yesterday. I have photos of the inside of my intestines. I'll pop those on the drive.
Okay, do that.
They're clean.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to ingest mercury.
Good for you.
I also found out that a doctor treated George Washington in 1799 using heroic medicine. So what I found out, they applied the mercury. He ingested the mercury, and they also did the sweating thing. And he died like immediately afterwards.
Bye, bitch.
Yeah. So, attempted the heroic medicine to save George Washington. Didn't work.
Didn't work so great.
The practice of heroic medicine gained favor around 1780, but people pretty quickly got tired of being dicked around by doctors, making them bleed and puke everywhere.
Yeah, like every time I come to see you, I leave feeling worse.
Yeah. So around like 1850, like 80 years after that became quite popular, people were like, maybe like palliative care is better because like the word care is
involved somehow.
Like for some reason, these quote unquote doctors, medicine people were like, let's strain the body as much as possible without actually killing them, and that will save them.
It's so wild. It's so wild.
Yeah. So
and
early
this was
detox.
such like a Western medicine exploration situation too, because there had certainly been like holistic practices and like using medicinal plants and like all of the like wound care and illness treatment, like all of these things did exist with some success among like different indigenous cultures for fucking centuries before we were like, we're gonna take all your blood out.
Well, yeah. we also went through like the Enlightenment.
Yes.
So people were like, oh, academics and new information is where it's at. So yeah, people were fumbling around in the dark for a little while. Not going to say we aren't still fucking doing that.
We definitely are. And I feel like stories like this sometimes give me a little bit of hope because it's like, yeah, humanity has been consistently going through rough patches for, forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still here figuring it out together. Sometimes in opposition of each other, but still together.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes opposition is how we learn. Not that I'm welcoming the opposition of our current situation, but it's like, y'all, if humanity can continue to persevere and figure it out through pouring all your blood into a
80% of its blood loss.
Like, stay the course. We can do this.
Oh, God.
Make America bloodletting again.
Make
This
America breathe again.
Breathing vein again.
Hanging brain and breathing vein.
Breathing vein. Yeah. New t-shirt.
Okay. Right. So anyway, in the 1970s with like the kind of like alt medicine on the rise, again, this new like focus on health and wellness, people were looking for ways to purify themselves, even if they didn't have access to the cool waters of Lake Minnetonka.
There it is.
To rid their bodies of the harmful toxins prevalent in everyday life.
I'm making this picture my desktop background. That's how much I fucking love it. Good. Downloading it right now.
Are you replacing Ken Allen?
I didn't make him my desktop, which is probably rude of me. I just have like some generic ass like Mac swooshy color desktop right now. I don't know why. I guess I'm just like devoid of all creativity. But that's about to fucking change, bitch.
Okay. So during this time, several methods of detoxing sprung up, again, in terms of like health stuff. So we have diets. The general idea is that most food contains contaminants that are harmful, such as dyes, flavor enhancers, PFAS, fucking... I can't. Detox diets are often high in fiber, claiming that then your body will burn off the toxin-storing fat because toxins and shit like that Are you laughing at your desktop?
I have to take a picture of it. It's so absurd.
I just looked up and you were shaking.
It's the best thing I've ever done. I'm so sorry. This episode is such a mess.
Send it. Send it.
I'm sending it right now. It cropped perfectly. It's so perfect.
There's no context. The patient looks so forlorn. Ugh. This is the fourth time this week.
Okay. I swear to God, I'll get my shit together. I have to. I'm covering it up with my windows because it's so good. It's so good. I'll make sure this goes on the drive. I'm adding. I'm obsessed. Best.
Don't tell Bill. Just have him go looking. Like
he never comes in here. He will never know. He will
He's
never.
He's coming in after recording to fix your installation.
That's true. I'm gonna leave it on and minimize all my windows. And he and Ben, who are working on the fucking frozen pipe in my office, are just gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
You're like, it's my office.
I can do. It's a decor decision. Bitch.
I'm an adult. I can decorate my office however I choose.
This painting is very meaningful to me. It changed my life.
When I found it on Google Drive last night.
Okay, I've added my desktop picture to the drive.
Okay.
That is in fucking incredible. Okay, I can focus now. It's cool. We got this. We're doing great. We're doing great.
Andrea, I want you to make the collage for this episode include both the image itself and the photo of Amanda's desktop.
Oh my fucking God. Oh God. Okay. That is so good.
Okay. So like toxins can live in your fat or like be stored in your fat for like
sure can
months and months, if not longer.
Yeah.
So they say you have a diet that's high in fiber, then your body will burn off that fat, allowing the contaminants to be processed and moved out of the body via blood, skin, urine, feces, perspiration, and expiration.
All the good
Spations.
Yeah, spations. All the best spations.
Defecation, perspiration, expiration.
Defecation, no breathing.
Juice fasting is another type of detox. Just a PSA, any kind of fasting can possibly have dangerous health consequences.
Sure
so please consult a real-life doctor for human beings before embarking on a cleanse diet.
Fast responsibly, y'all.
Yeah. Colon cleansing. This involves the administration of an enema, aka a colonic, containing usually, I think at least salt, because it's like a saline solution. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they put coffee or other herbs in there.
Oh, the coffee enemas. There was an episode of, I think it was like My Strange Addiction.
Oh, yeah.
Where a couple.
Just addicted to coffee enemas.
Yeah, they were addicted to coffee enemas and they were like destroying the tissues in their buttholes and colons.
Yeah.
Because they were doing it like many times a day.
Yeah.
It's like, baby, no. Don't be stripping your colon of all of that like important lube and bacteria and shit. Like, we need that. Yeah.
All your flora and fauna.
We need our flora and fauna, babe.
Hopefully you don't have fauna in your ass, but...
Or flora.
But, well, flora, bacteria.
All right, that's fair.
Talk about an afterglow. Talk about your butthole burning.
Straight up.
Okay, so this is said to remove food, you know, the stinky brown kind of food, from the colon that gets stuck up there.
Sure.
Here's another PSA. The colon typically does not require outside help to clean itself. So again, please consult a professional if you want to have an enema. Probably best to have it administered by a professional.
Yeah, it's like if you have a vagina, you want to be cautious of how you clean it because it's an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. There's important stuff in there that needs to remain intact. And if you keep stripping it out, you're gonna be hurting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking to a licensed professional in any of these areas.
Very important.
Very important. Don't just Google it, find the answer you want, and then carry on.
Yeah. That usually is not a great option.
No. Another kind of detox is heavy metals, aka chelation therapy.
I've heard about this, but I don't know what the fuck this means.
You've heard of chelation therapy?
Yes.
So this is for the removal of heavy metals from the body. So heavy metals such as mercury, lead, iron, and arsenic. Some people think that one should also remove like fillings in your teeth because of metal poisoning. Okay. I don't know how much there is there, but also we don't generally use metal for fillings anymore, right?
Well, it depends. I mean,
my fillings are all white. Well, I only have a couple.
Yeah, there's different products that they can use now, but even like for a long time in modern history, that even if there were like caps or or fillings. They were using pretty like safe, like gold, silver, things that are not going to like release fucking lead and shit into your mouth.
Yeah.
So that seems like a little bit of a paranoia to be worried about fillings in like the modern age, but certainly that would have been an issue, you know, in early dentistry. I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know how valid that is. Also, like everything, it's a fucking spectrum. So at the end of the day, it's all about risk mitigation. If this is something you want to be concerned about, then do you.
Yep, exactly.
In the 1930s, a German chemist was looking for a replacement for citric acid as a water softener.
Okay.
So he created a chemical called, here we go.
You got this. I believe in you.
Ethyl enediamine tetraacetic acid.
Good
also known
Lord.
as EDTA. I think I did pretty good.
I think you fucking killed that.
Given that there are
Impossible
back-to-back
task.
A's, there's
Yeah.
back-to-back A's.
That was a lot.
I know. Don't ask me to ever do it again.
I will never.
Chelation therapy is actually from what they used it in World War II. It was invented for World War II when Oxford scientists were looking for an antidote to lewisite, which was an arsenic-based chemical weapon.
Okay, this tracks. They had consistent opportunities to be exposed to dangerous, you know,
heavy
toxic
metals.
heavy metals, and so this therapy would have been necessary. It wasn't their fillings, but like,
yeah, it was like, oh, we're being exposed to heavy metals as a means to kill us and hurt us, so we're trying to come up with a way to pull that out.
yeah.
So they heard that EDTA was great for treating lead poisoning, so they came up with this treatment, chelation therapy. Some people also think that chelation therapy could be good for treating heart disease, but that's kind of an alternative theory.
Yeah, is
the
this
American
still
Heart Association doesn't
recognize
sign
it?
off on that. Yeah.
Okay. Is this still like a common practice in modern medicine, or has it like just really evolved since its inception?
You can get it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering if this is like still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive it's still a thing, and I don't know like how commonly it's practiced, but if you are being poisoned with arsenic, like we've talked about several cases in the last year where there was arsenic, or thallium is another example.
Okay, I actually
So,
wonder
like, the
if
Coke
this
bottles-
is where I actually stumbled upon that therapy term.
Like the crazy neighbors with the Coke bottles
Yes.
with the thallium poisoning.
Yeah, in Florida, yeah.
Yeah. So had they known what it was,
They could have used this
they could
method.
have used chelation therapy to treat them.
Yeah, try to detox the body of these heavy metals. Interesting. Okay.
I don't know the exact I don't know how the therapy like works.
No.
If it's like an injection or a transfusion. It might be a transfusion. I don't really know. But I don't know. Something to do with a chemical.
Well, yeah, and there are different compounds that like soak up or can latch on.
That's what they do. The compounds from the EDTA latch onto the heavy metals, and then they
can be flushed out. They're like bigger.
I forgot how this works. Somehow they are like immediately flushed out, or I don't know. They're flushed out. They're fucking flushed out. Okay.
All right, great. Chemistry occurs. You fold it in,
Chemistry
David.
occurs.
I don't know how to make it any clearer.
You just fold it in.
Just fold it in.
So as we kind of touched on, there are obviously detox programs that individuals can enter into as well in order to combat addiction. And this goes for pretty much any heavy substance abuse, but alcohol addiction in particular can be uniquely dangerous to detox from, because the withdrawals can cause further harm if not treated and supervised professionally. So like you can die from alcohol withdrawal.
Because your body chemistry can literally adjust over time to rely on that chemical being in your body to function. And so things can shut down rapidly if it's suddenly removed without medical supervision and assistance to like wean off. And fortunately modern medicine has provided us with access to like a lot of medications and things for removing alcohol, not just from like your diet but also from your body, that can even be taken at home. So like there are a lot of different methods. I think people hear the word detox and they just like envision this like rehab, people strapped to a bed and they're like sick and dying, and like
interventions.
That can be part of it, but like a lot of people are commonly detoxing with the help of like their PCP that's prescribing them medications to be able to wean off of alcohol at home. And with some more creature comfort. So like there are options, and that's part of why like detecting substance use early so that you can have earlier interventions that are a little bit less traumatic can be like a really great opportunity, to move toward sobriety without as much like harm and trauma, both psychologically but also physically to your body.
Yeah. I just think it's important to point out that if this is you can have a seizure if you just suddenly cut yourself off from something that your body is used to consuming and comes to rely on every day. So,
yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. So be careful. Just be careful out there.
Be careful out there, babes.
So like I said, today I wanted to focus on a specific kind of detox, and that is digital detox.
Oh, I love this.
And I think this is something that we should all be considering at this particular moment in history.
Yeah, man. I'm curious about what you find here, because I have like so many thoughts on this.
Okay. So most of this information I'm going to tell you about now comes from the National Institute of Health, RIP. You had a good run.
She'll be back.
Glad I pulled this information before it all went dark. So this is from an academic review that was published by the NIH in April of 2024 about the effects of a digital detox, which they define as when a person or individual stays disconnected from devices or social media for a defined duration. So this is a review. It's not one study. It's a compendium of like comprehensive research that they did online, ironically, with similar studies staying within specific parameters and like mapping out the outcomes of those. And then I think they also did their own volunteer-based study.
Okay, where they tried out the like recommended, like they tried out the detox, basically, the social media detox.
Yes. And I think it's like, it's social media, but it's also like checking the news and all that. So it's basically any activity you do on your smartphone.
Yeah, like doom scrolling comes in many shapes and sizes.
Yeah, they're not saying that you can't like access the internet to like send an email or like do your work because it's 2025 for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
like,
we literally can't do fuck all without the internet anymore.
Yeah. This is specifically about mainly social media, news, doom scrolling, all that stuff. So among these parameters, here is a list of permissible activities in the situation of a digital detox as provided by the study. So here are some things that you can think about applying to your own life. Unplugging, which is disconnecting from all digital devices for a certain period. So that would be
literally touching grass.
Leaving your TV off. Not checking your email. Another activity, time management. So set specific times for using and not using digital devices. Mindful usage is just being aware of the time and purpose, specifically purpose of using digital devices. What a concept. Physical activity. Engaging in activities like walking, yoga, etc. to distract from using digital devices.
I need to get a fucking walking pad because like I walk a lot when the weather is nice, but like we've been in a fucking polar vortex for the last week. Bitch, I'm not going outside.
Yeah. I got to pull mine out. It's under my bed. Reading books. Another novel idea. Spending time reading physical books, not ebooks. Again, try to stay away from the screens.
Mm-hmm.
And then touching grass, nature time, spending time outdoors, away from digital devices.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just leisurely things that you could do that don't involve screens. Or if you are involving screens, being more mindful, aware, intentional of that time spent.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the mindful usage is kind of where I fall. And like, I think this is it's obviously a very relevant topic right now, especially with like the brief TikTok ban and the changes with Meta, and a lot of people are leaving these platforms. And like, I do understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of like organizing and powerful things that still happen on those platforms, and like the connectivity of the internet that allows people with disabilities to get accurate and updated information and also like participate in society is so important. So it's just this thing where it's like, we're in this position where you kind of can't live with it, can't live without it. We're pigeonholed into these, because like, what is it, like 6 billionaires own like almost every social media thing that we have access to.
Communication channel.
Yeah.
Not even just social media.
Yeah, because doesn't Meta also own like
information?
WhatsApp?
Yeah.
I think so. It's wild. And like that same concept applies to the news.
Like Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Yeah. Like
it's all the same fucking ball of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
PBS NewsHour.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. But that, I feel like that reality also kind of requires us to stay connected and like questioning and giving feedback and like talking to each other about the shit we're seeing in the news, so that we're not just taking in all of this information in isolation without like the capacity for critical analysis, because we're so overwhelmed. And like, that's what they fucking want. They want us to be so overwhelmed and doom scrolling so hard that we just shut down and can't fucking function. That's the goal.
Yeah. In-person community too.
It's so important. And some people can't.
Really important. I know. Yeah, I know. It's not very egalitarian all the time.
It's like it's part of it, and it's not everything, because it's not accessible to everyone. So it's it's just like, it's what you pointed out is that critical balance is so fucking important.
So this was this is kind of how the study sort of panned out. So I kind of gave you the parameters. And I believe that, again, this was like a really academic article, and I stared at it for 45 minutes and I couldn't.
Just went blank.
It's been a while since I've read an article that fucking dense. So from what I could tell, they did conduct in their own pool of volunteers. They were limited to 30 minutes a day of social media, like news, digital quote unquote time.
Okay.
For 14 days.
Okay.
So it's not,
it wasn't a crazy, like, you're cut off from the internet for a month detox.
Yes. So
it was a moderation detox.
30 minutes a day for 14 days. But that is way, way, way less time than I spend.
Hell yeah.
Sucking my brain down my phone.
Well, and also like our jobs require us to be pretty plugged in.
I go beyond my job.
Oh, so do I. 1,000%.
So at first, the authors, the writers of the article, the designers of the study thought it would be a challenge to find people willing to go all the way through the process and like stick with it. But it turns out this was not the case. Quote, surprisingly, both the study team and the volunteers discovered that a significant number of individuals experienced a sense of relief, pleasure, and alleviation from the detox process, believing it to be less challenging than anticipated.
It's true. I even think about some of the times that like we've gone on our friend trips with like Scott and Courtney, sorry. And we will just kind of intentionally connect with each other and like go do an activity and like put our phones away.
The only people I want to talk to are right in front of me.
Yeah. And it really does. Like when I you know, on occasion, I will just take a day where I'm like, okay, I'm not fucking, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll take a peek at the top of the day. I'll take a peek at the bottom, and then I'm putting my phone away.
Yeah. I want to be like fully facing the real life interactions in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And it does feel
good. Yeah.
Like it makes me feel more human.
Yeah. It like fills your heart a little bit.
Yeah.
So the majority of those surveyed had difficulty, but were able to adjust to the 30-minute restriction on the internet, showcasing their capability to adjust their daily habits to accept limited usage of the internet. In general, respondents developed a heightened awareness of their online communication patterns and implemented measures to control their use. They were like, oh, this actually did feel pretty good to disconnect. I'm going to make sure that I keep this up.
Mm-hmm. There is like a withdrawal at the top, though, where there's that like anxiety of, oh, my God, how many people have tried to call me? I haven't checked my phone. Like, who's texting me? You know, and I mean, some of that is fair. Like emergencies do happen and people need to reach you. And
I think you could still use your phone as a fucking phone.
Right.
It's the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the Apple News, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, you're taking my fucking housewives subreddits from my cold dead hands. Like, I'm sorry. It's
that's what I'm saying.
That's never going to happen.
But in terms of like specifically social media, this says a significant number of individuals reported heightened feelings of ennui. So like solitaire, like not exactly loneliness, but just sort of like quiet kind of bummer solitude feelings.
Yeah.
This discovery aligns with other research indicating that diminishing one's engagement with social media specifically does that because it's social. We like to be social. We like to know what other people are doing. That's human nature.
Yeah. That connectivity.
If you're not quite used to doing that as much in person to fill your needs, then of course you kind of fill that space with social media. And if that's taken away from you, then you're like, oh, I'm all alone.
And, you know, social media, it's so sinister because it's literally built to like...
and make you feel bad?
Well, yes. And it's meant to evoke like dopamine responses. So likes and engagement and like all of that, because we just have
filters.
these innate human desires to be like loved and liked and cared for. And it gives you that little flash of it. And then like when you have a post that doesn't do as well, it like destroys your soul. It's tough. I mean, and that's intentional. Like it's fucking sinister, man.
It is.
They
really
built
is.
that into the fucking program to have that kind of evocative response so that you will continue to use it chasing that dopamine high. It's crazy. Yep. It freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah. It's very Orwellian.
Yes.
So in conclusion, quote, the findings suggest that while initial apprehension about the detox were common, many participants found the experience manageable and even enjoyable. Notably, the detox led to positive changes in addiction and health-related outcomes, which were maintained post-intervention. So people were like, I'm going to keep this up.
Wow.
The review also underscores the importance of personalized approaches to digital detox, like you were saying. Maybe it's just the more mindfulness. Maybe you do need to put your phone in a fucking drawer and leave the house. That's what you need personally, as well as strategies to manage boredom and substitute screen time activities. Reading a book, going on a walk, playing with your cat. I don't know, masturbating. I have no idea.
Honestly, like one of the things that I do when I feel so overwhelmed and like depressed by social media and need to take a break from my screens is like I go to Robbie and Aaron's house and we just sit around and fucking like bitch and shoot the shit. And like, yeah, sometimes we'll, we watch movies together. We fucking rewatch old episodes of Drag Race, like whatever. But we're at least like doing something
together
that's like interactive. I mean, I don't know. That's like, they know this, so it's not like embarrassing, but they're like my safe house. Like I'll call them and be like, I'm stressed and overwhelmed and I need to get the fuck out of my house. Can I just come over and like work? And they're like, yeah. Like I have the garage code. I just don't want to walk in on them like fucking or anything. So, I give them a heads up. And that's not because they're gay. I don't want to walk in on anybody fucking. Okay. Well, let me get ahead of that rumor. Amanda hates the gays. And I do, but it's not because they're having sex with each other.
It's because they're mean.
It's because they're mean to me. They didn't like my posts on Instagram.
Oh.
But that really is like such a powerful thing. If, you don't need a ton of friends, like take it from us. But I think everybody does need that kind of community. And like if we lived 15 minutes apart from each other, like Robbie and Aaron and I do, you'd be on that list too, where it's like, you need that little short list of people that you can call and just be like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay, come over. Or like, okay, let's go get lunch. You know what I mean? Like that is so restorative and can be the difference between absolutely falling into the depths of despair and.
I think it was on The Moth, but there was some thing I saw recently. I feel like it was from a reputable source. It wasn't just a TikTok or something. They said that like a 6-minute conversation with a close friend or like someone you love can be enough to like fulfill you.
Yeah.
And so they were saying like it doesn't have to be a full night hang. It doesn't have to be a full meal. It doesn't have to be an in-person thing. Just like if you're feeling lonely and you need to talk to someone, all it takes is 6 minutes.
Hearing the voice of somebody who cares about you on the phone can be life-saving.
Yeah. So they were saying that like sometimes when they're feeling lonely or like if they just need to talk to one of their friends and they don't want other people to avoid them because they don't want to commit to like a full thing, then they'll call their friend and just say like, hey, do you have 6 minutes? And that's kind of their code word for like, I really need you. I don't need to take up a lot of your time. I just need 6 minutes of your time.
I really like that.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah. 6 minutes. Okay, so here is my case for today, also related to digital detox. Before I start, I will say that most of this information came from one source.
Okay.
You know what? I'll just cover it when we get to it. But there wasn't a lot of information here. It is currently still unsolved.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. Going back to January 2021 in Port Moody near Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
So just to paint a picture of this area, it's right on the water with mountains all around it, much like, Vancouver.
We love Vancouver.
Sure do. It's incredibly pretty. It's damp. It's bustling. It's affluent. Port Moody is a really old place that was the terminus of the Transcontinental Railway built by the Canadian Pacific Railway Company. And historically, it was a destination for artists due to the, quote, ambient lighting.
Oh, wow.
I want to go there.
So real.
I know. So it's like kind of this spooky, beautiful,
it's
dramatic
Twilight.
Landscape. It's Twilight.
It's Twilight.
Everyone has glittering skin.
Yep. Just everything's covered in moss. Everything has like a green glow to it.
There's a drizzle in the air at all times.
Just gorgeous.
Trina Hunt was a 48-year-old woman employed by Shaw Communications and by all accounts was very well liked by her friends and coworkers. So she's 48 years old. I believe that she recently retired early.
Okay.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She was last seen by her husband, Ian, spelled I-A-I-N.
Okay.
Why?
Hey, I don't know.
It looks like Lane.
Yeah.
Ian, on Monday, January 18th at 6 a.m. He reported her missing when he came home from work that day. The timeline here is very important because it's basically the crux of this case.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read what we know happened chronologically. So like I said, most of this came from one source, and that source is trinahunt.com.
Okay.
So this, first of all, extremely well-maintained website. It's very clean, easy to read, pictures, timeline. Like it reads like a BuzzFeed article. I'm not trying to diminish the seriousness of this, but like the people who designed this website and who keep it up, you're doing a really fucking good job.
Yeah, like it's expertly curated.
Yes. So trinahunt.com. I do also want to point out, because this is unsolved, there could be an element of bias in here.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's being maintained by friends and family. Mm-hmm. But this breaks down the case really, really well. And there is not a lot of other information that's available besides the info from this website.
Okay.
So we're going to start on Thursday, January 14th. Trina is seen on CCTV, and this is the last known footage of her. Mm-hmm. Again, she's retired, so she doesn't go to work, so she didn't have to be anywhere on Friday.
Right. So there aren't people like with immediate red flags going, why aren't you here?
Mm-hmm. So Thursday the 14th, that's when she's last seen on CCTV footage. Saturday, January 16th, Ian states that he and Trina drove to Hope, British Columbia, to visit a campground they used to go to when they were younger. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's an interesting...
Cute.
Yeah, okay.
You do you.
Yeah. Here's an interesting detail. The weather that day, of course, because it's Port Moody, was cold, foggy, and icy.
Okay.
Ian said they took his gray BMW, which had rear-wheel drive, instead of taking Trina's larger Mercedes SUV that had all-wheel drive.
Okay, interesting choice, considering the weather.
Mm-hmm. He also said that they didn't have their phones with them because they were on a digital detox.
Okay.
This is important.
Yeah, see, I'm here for a touching grass digital detox, but like anything where I'm expected to engage with the wilderness without an emergency line, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it.
Well.
And that's not victim blaming. That's just me.
Maybe
that's my own fear.
Maybe the digital detox was serving a different purpose.
Yeah, that's what it's sounding like to me.
So he wasn't sure what time they arrived home, but he said it was in time for a movie, so it wasn't super duper late at night.
Okay.
That same day, so this is Saturday, around like in the middle of the day, 2 texts to Trina from a coworker went unanswered. So her phone was still existing. Her phone received 2 texts. She did not answer.
She's retired, so this is like a former coworker.
Yeah.
Not someone who is like a coworker who's like expecting her to be at work.
I think it's a former coworker because they made it pretty clear that like she was good. She still remained friends with her coworkers.
Yep.
She was very well liked. I think it was just a friend. Sunday, January 17th, Ian states it was a quiet Sunday. Nobody knows what, if anything, really happened that day. Trina's phone had answered some texts that day, but the style in which they were written was very curt. They didn't have any emojis, which was unlike her, so people were worried, getting kind of worried. So
I would so know if it was like not you texting. Like immediately.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I totally trust this kind of shit. Like a friend fucking knows. I talk to you constantly.
I know.
I can hear everything you write in the exact cadence of your fucking voice. Like I would know if it wasn't you.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. So this was the response that someone got from Trina's phone. Quote, delayed response because I'm trying a digital detox this weekend. Haven't touched the phone all weekend.
Okay.
2 weekends in a row, Trina. So careless, no emojis. And then the friend replies something like, wow, a digital detox. Like, that sounds really impressive. to which Trina's phone replies, "Amen." And the friend was like,
Excuse?
that's not like, you've never said anything like that before.
Yeah.
No emojis, like weird punctuation, just weird. So when asked about Sunday evening, Ian states that he purposely did not set the house alarm that evening because he was going to leave for work early on Monday and didn't want to wake up Trina.
Okay.
Can't you just turn off the alarm before you leave the house?
This feels weird. Like a lot of gymnastics to make pieces fit.
Mm-hmm. Evidently, Trina was very fastidious about setting the alarm and having the windows shut and the doors locked at night. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird that he purposely didn't set the alarm and that she also didn't insist that he set the alarm.
Right. Like, just because I'm on digital detox doesn't mean we're going to completely fuck over my entire routine.
Yeah. So Monday, January 18th, there is no activity on Trina's phone. She misses an appointment that she had at 1 p.m. I don't know if it was like a hair appointment or some kind of appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Ian comes home at 4:30. He sees Trina's car in the driveway. Her keys, her wallet, and her phone are there, but Trina is not there.
Interesting.
So at 5 p.m., he calls the police to report her missing. That evening, the Port Moody police began canvassing the area, and the following couple days see the involvement of the police, search and rescue workers, people in the community, helicopter and canine units, and a marine unit all looking for her.
Okay, so the search is extensive. They're taking this seriously.
Very seriously. A month later, on February 17th, there's a news report or a news press release by the Port Moody police. They still have not.
A month? She'd been missing for a month before a press release went out?
Yeah.
That's kind of fucking wild.
Well, they might have, I'm sure they released something before, but this is a press release that
like
said.
An update?
Yeah, it lists all the agencies working to find Trina and also said, "We have also contacted our partners at the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team called IHIT. Mm-hmm. As part of that team's mandate is to investigate suspicious missing person cases where foul play is suspected."
Okay, so now the press release is, I jumped the gun. The press release is more to be like, we're moving this case toward a homicide investigation.
Well, let me finish this out. At this time, evidence indicates that this missing person case does not meet IHIT's mandate. So here's what happened. Port Moody Police Chief Flugel. I didn't get his first name. Chief Flugel was confident that something fucked up was going on. Like, people are acting weird. We can't find her. I'm going to move this up to IHIT because I'm pretty fucking sure there's foul play. That's what police chief says. IHIT says, no, we don't have enough evidence.
Okay.
So Flugel remains confident that something's up, something's fucked up. We gotta, this isn't right.
Something's off.
Something's off. But the official agency doesn't
They're not going to take it on yet.
That way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
March 1st, Trina's family and friends are still making banners to fly on overpasses, appealing to the public for any information. Ian does not participate in any of these activities, but does release a particularly bland statement to the press, which reads, "The past 6 weeks since Trina's disappearance have been a devastating and incredibly difficult time for me and everyone who knows my wife. I feel the same frustration and incomprehension that her parents, family, and friends share in not knowing what has happened to Trina. I'm confident the police are doing all they can to solve this case, and I am hopeful that they will bring Trina home."
It's giving what's-his-face, who killed his Watts.
Chris Watts.
Yeah, Shanann and the kids.
Yeah, just doesn't care. It's just like a boilerplate message. It's just nothing. Yeah. There are also photos of him on the drive. He just looks like a shitty white dude.
That's him?
Shitty fucking white dude. Yeah.
He looks like the fucking chuckle fuck who said, "Your body, my choice." That's exactly what he looks like.
Thin lips.
It's so, like, where are your lips? It just looks like someone took an X-Acto knife.
Talk. I am not one to talk, but...
Girl, you have 1,000 times more lip than this fucking asshole does.
Men with no lips just really fucking...
It's very strange.
It's weird.
It's unsettling. He's also got a butt chin, which I often admire, but
not on this guy.
Not on this guy. It looks like I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
So this part's really weird, and I don't have any further information, but it's a weird tidbit.
Oh, God. Okay.
March 10th. So this is just 9 days after he released his statement, his stupid-ass
statement. Yeah. His
March
nothing
10th.
Sandwich.
Yeah. Ian's tenure as CEO of Clean Tech Service Group is terminated.
Okay.
So Ian's the CEO at whatever Clean Tech Service Group is.
Boo.
He says he's taking a sabbatical. He's like, oh, I'm just stepping aside for a little bit. But that's not proven. All we know is that he doesn't have his job anymore. And we also know that Clean Tech has scrubbed Ian off of all public-facing materials.
You did something fucked up. They are distancing themselves from you.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird?
That's really fucking weird.
March 29th.
Because especially for like a corporation not to protect their like a CEO asset.
Something happened.
You've done something beyond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On March 29th, a set of human remains is found in Hope, where they went to their childhood campground.
Oh, fuck.
It wasn't at the campground, I don't think. This says it was just south of Silver Creek. The day the remains were reported, Ian leaves the home that he's sharing with missing Trina to move in with his parents in Mission, British Columbia.
Okay.
The day the remains are reported.
Huh.
2 days later, March 31st, a second set of remains is found in Hope. Again, the town where they went and visited that campground, allegedly.
Now, do they think, maybe we don't know, do these remains all belong to the same person?
Three sets of people. Sorry, there's two different people.
Oh, wow.
They're two totally different bodies.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Both of these bodies were proven not to be those of several missing people in the area.
Uh-huh.
So they had a list of missing people. They are comparing said missing people to the bodies, and they are actively ruling, not all of them, but they are ruling a lot of them out. So they're attempting to, they're comparing the bodies against missing people, including Trina.
Yep.
But they're ruling certain people out. On April 1st, the next day, a police car and another detective were seen at the Hunt's house. Of course, Ian is not there. He's at his parents' house.
Mm-hmm, conveniently.
April 6th, just a few days later, a third set of human remains was found, this time in Mission, where Ian's parents lived. That body was identified to belong to Brandon Sacabo, age 23, from Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Again, this information is just what we know happened.
Mm-hmm.
As we sit right now, things have not been tied together.
Okay, so we don't know if or how this person is connected to this dude.
They identified the body that was found in Mission, which coincidentally is where Ian was staying with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know now, that is a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have these other two bodies in Hope, where they had been on Saturday, 2 days before she was reported missing, 2 days after she had last been seen.
Yeah, it's not looking great. I know coincidences happen. God knows we could all be within a few miles of human remains at any given time and just have no idea. Like, that is just the reality.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like really weird.
It's weird. So by April 18th, 4 months have gone by. Trina's friends and family hold a candlelight vigil. Ian does not attend. Good luck, guy.
Yeah, that's sus.
And then on May 1st, I hit reports that the human remains found in Hope, the first set of remains that were south of Silver Creek, are those of Trina Hunt.
Oh, no.
So that first body they found was her.
Oh.
So foul play is finally suspected.
Yeah.
Chief Flugel is vindicated.
Yeah, justice for Flugel.
Yeah, for Flugel. The media and flowers start showing up around the Hunt house, but of course Ian is not even there. 3 fucking days later, after that body has been identified as his missing wife, he and his father arrive at the house, stay one night, and then leave the next day with a bunch of his clothes. So obviously rumors are beginning to swirl, but the authorities confirm nothing.
And I don't want, like, obviously everybody grieves differently. I'm biased because this is like a Tucker Carlson ascot looking white dude.
Yeah.
But like,
he just looks awful.
Optics in these kinds of situations historically have fucking mattered. And if you don't, if you've discovered your wife has been missing for months and now it's confirmed that she's dead and is part of a murder investigation, if you are not like having some kind of reaction to that, human reaction, it's ringing alarm bells. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not enough to convict you, but like it's enough to be like, why do you seem to not give a shit about this? It's your fucking wife.
Extremely fishy.
It's suspicious. It's weird.
So on June 1st, Trina's family announces a $50,000 Canadian reward for information leading to an arrest.
Okay.
Just 4 days later, on June 5th, I-Hit and Port Moody police conduct simultaneous searches of both Trina and Ian's house and Ian's parents' house.
Good.
Police were seen conducting forensic 3D scanning, like
checking the yard
in the ground.
Yeah.
Gathering mail, removing objects, etc. Both the BMW and the Mercedes SUV were towed away. Almost exactly 1 year later.
My God, this has been going on for so long.
So this is like a year and 5 months after she disappeared. On June 3rd, 2020, Ian Hunt is arrested from the house he shared with Trina.
Oh my God.
Apparently he still had slippers on. It was a Friday. The next day, he's fucking released. And
so
that
clearly
is
not enough to hold him.
That's the timeline so far. That is everything that has happened so far.
Wow.
The killer has not been brought to justice. We don't know who the other body belonged to, that second one.
Oh my God.
The cops aren't saying anything, probably because they don't feel like appealing to the public will be helpful. I think the cops know that he did it, but after his arrest, when it came time to prove that to some sort of court system, the court was like, no, you don't have enough, and then they have released him.
And, it doesn't do any service to Trina for the public to assume things that aren't correct. Like, the other bodies very well may have nothing to do with this guy. Do I think he participated in killing his wife? Yeah, kinda, based on what we have. But like, I don't know about these other remains that were found, and we're just gonna have to wait until more evidence is uncovered. But that is fucking wild.
Yeah, so this case is still very much in the public eye. The reward has been renewed, and there is a particularly damning statement from the family, which I will read now. Ian Hunt and his family are consistently conspicuous in their absence in helping search for Trina or for Trina's killer, other than a couple of impotent statements written by Ian and read out by Trina's family over the last year.
Yeah, you'd think your husband would be fucking doing everything he possibly could to get justice for the death of his wife, the murder of his wife.
Ian Hunt,
if you're not doing that, I'm looking at you weird.
Ian Hunt and his family have not contributed towards the reward. They have not and refuse to commit any finances nor time nor provide any more encouragement, effort, nor exposure.
He's got money. He was a CEO.
To help track down Trina's killer and help provide closure. Ian and his family's silence and weak action is deeply noted by all, her friends, and most importantly, the memory and family of Trina.
The money thing is particularly egregious because that is like so the bare minimum of what he could have been doing just to, at face value, look like he gave a shit.
Yep.
And he didn't even do that.
Yep. So, trinahunt.com. Check that out. It's fascinating. If you have any information, contact the Port Moody police, specifically Flugel.
Yep.
And yeah, let's try to bring justice for Trina. I think it would be hard to, it'd be difficult to prove that the guy didn't do it, but like, man. That
wild.
Guy sucks, and we have to find her killer.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to set like an alert for her name because they know a lot. Like they have a lot of solid information, but there is so much we don't know. And this seems to be a little bit of a trend with Molly's fan pick cases because we're about to get into mine. But like when they're in the process of investigations like this, there's so much they can't release for like the integrity of the case. So I imagine especially if this goes to court, like goes to trial, there will be so much more that we find about this. But like I hate how long it takes. And I do appreciate that if the investigators are doing their jobs and like, I don't know what they would call it in Canada, but like if the state prosecutor is doing their job in compiling something really comprehensive so they have a solid case so that they can actually like bring this fucking thing to a conclusion, then like our patience is an important part of that. But yeah, if someone, God willing, if someone listening to this like knows anything, like please share that fucking information so that this poor woman's family can get some goddamn justice and fucking sleep.
Yep. So yeah, that's Trina.
God, well
digital
done.
Detox. She wasn't on a digital detox.
No.
She was dead.
That's shady as hell.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Damn. Well done. Great suggestion, Molly.
Yeah, thanks, Molly.
All right, let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors and then get into Molly's other fan pick case.
Let's do it.
Anyway, we're back.
We're back.
And I have been graced with the other fan pick this week. Similarly to Lucy, I need to note that this case is very recent. More information will come out about this in the coming year, I'm hoping. I'm going to be real with you. This was hard to research because the trials haven't begun yet. So, like we said, a lot of information isn't released until it comes out at trial for like protecting the integrity of the case, choosing a jury.
And patience is important.
But like, here is everything I could gather that is available so far. So Dr. Hamid Mirai was a respected physician in Woodland Hills, California, specializing in detox. He was well liked by his patients and his community and reportedly served thousands of average Americans and celebrities alike struggling with addiction. He had over 10 years of experience in the field of addictionology and approached the specialty with an open mind. He used standard procedures as well as holistic procedures depending on the needs of the client. Like it's California. Woodland Hills is like near Topanga. It's like, this is a very common approach to like West Coast
affluent
rehabilitation is like
wellness.
Yeah, it's very blended between standard Western medicine practices and like health and wellness. There was like one thing I read that insinuated that some of his practices could have been seen as controversial, but I'm not substantiating that. And I think that that's out there because of the fact that we don't have all of the details in this case. And so people are most thirsty to understand what the motive for this was. And we'll kind of get to it, but like, that just feels like a big reach to me that his practices, when like I looked at his website, I looked up his reviews, like there was nothing that I could find that could corroborate or even like show a glimmer of that suggestion.
That he was.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm even saying it is because if that's something that you come across in the very limited information that's out about this case, I would encourage you to take it with a grain of salt because we don't know what the fuck the motivation was at this point. We can kind of gather what it was, but like we won't know until trial. And even then,
maybe not.
Maybe not. Unfortunately, as you noticed, we're talking about him in the past tense. He was fatally shot on Friday, August 23rd of 2024 in the parking lot of his clinic as he was leaving for the day. According to the LAPD, this was not a random act of violence, but a targeted attack. Surveillance footage showed a masked suspect creeping around the clinic's parking lot, kind of hiding, like lying in wait, essentially, for nearly an hour.
Oh, God.
Waiting for Dr. Murshajai to exit the building. As the doctor approached his car at around 6:15 p.m., the suspect fired multiple shots and at least one at like pretty close range, killing him and fled on foot. I don't think the doctor was the last person to leave the clinic, so the gunshots were heard. 911 was called immediately. Paramedics from the LA Fire Department arrived very quickly, but it was unfortunately too late, and Dr. Murshajai was pronounced dead at the scene.
Was he shot multiple times?
I don't know. I believe so, but there were certainly rounds that were collected at the scene that had not passed through him or made contact with him. But again, the details are kind of limited because like even all of that is evidence that they're using to build toward the trial for this person and additional persons involved in this case. It's a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface because there's like multiple people that have their fucking sticky little goddamn fingers in this situation.
Okay.
So as it turns out, Dr. Hamid Mirai had a tumultuous relationship with his ex-wife, Ahang Mirai, who previously worked at the clinic. I think in some sort of like administrative capacity. She wasn't a doctor. The two divorced in 2010, and they had it was a messy divorce and messy lead up to the divorce. They had a well-documented history of hostility, financial disputes, violence, mutual accusations of harm and wrongdoing. I honestly don't know much about him or his role in a lot of this. A lot is coming out about her, and there are reports that he made of things that she had done leading up to this. So I'm
like intimate partner abuse type stuff?
Yes. And so I'm not saying that he never participated in that because I don't know. But there isn't much that I could find that is documented, at least, to suggest that. Now, we know that a lot of people do not report incidents of intimate partner violence. So I'm not saying that this guy is like, no victim is perfect. But what I'm saying is I don't know. And so there's not going to be some sort of like smear campaign about this man because I don't have any evidence to support that he was like consistently violent toward his wife. One of these accusations was from Dr. Murshajai, who reported that Ahang had been working in an administrative position at the clinic before their divorce, and he agreed to keep her on after they split, like trying to be amicable, like, I know we're divorced, but I'm not going to like fire you from your job just because we're breaking up. But then 6 years after their divorce in 2016, Dr. Murshajai discovered that she was allegedly embezzling large sums of money from the clinic. So he fired her, and she allegedly retaliated by threatening to destroy the clinic and then engaged in a series of disruptive actions, including breaking into the clinic multiple times, like after hours, and at least one documented physical assault against him. One report alleged that she had him physically assaulted by 3 men wielding baseball bats.
And she's still working at his clinic.
She had just been fired.
Oh,
this was all after he had just fired her. So he's like caught her allegedly embezzling. He fires her.
Okay.
She is retaliating now.
Okay.
And so so he's attacked by these like random dudes with baseball bats.
These goons.
Yeah. Then she claims that the doctor, was threatening her life and had once gone as far as to draw a hunting knife on her during an argument. So again, that accusation, like the baseball bat thing, is substantiated. Like we know that happened. The hunting knife thing doesn't seem to be substantiated. We're not sure. Dr. Murshidjai did report threats from Ahang's new fiance. There's nothing I could find that indicated who this fiance is or that he has any connection to Dr. Murshidjai's murder or the baseball bat attacks. That was just like a report he made. I don't know if that is even relevant to the case at the end of the day. He detailed violent altercations in which he feared for his safety. And again, I believe this may have been the baseball bat incident, but details are super spotty because this case hasn't officially gone to trial. So a lot is going to come up as the trials begin. And there could have been multiple attacks on him leading up to his murder that we don't have public access now to, because that is all relevant information to escalating behavior that led to his death. So it's kind of a tough spot that we're in right now trying to follow this case, because there's so much that we don't have access to because we haven't gone to trial yet. So what we do know is that enough evidence to support the theory of a murder for hire plot orchestrated by Ahang has led to 5 arrests. So his ex-wife, Ahang, has been arrested. A man named Evan Hardman, who was identified as the shooter from the parking lot. Sarallah Jawed, who allegedly facilitated the crime and helped Hardman flee the state. He was arrested in Texas while the other suspects were all arrested in California. I don't know if he even lived in California, but because some of the reports I read referred to him as a Texas man. So he may have been friends with her and come to the state to do this and then left and went back.
Okay.
But again, I'm not 100% sure. We don't have that detail. A man named Sean Randolph for helping orchestrate the attack, and a woman named Ashley Rose Sweeting, who was accused of acting as an accessory by driving Hardman to and from the scene. Hardman and Jawed were also implicated in the baseball bat assault on Dr. Murshidjai last year. So there is a connection there. Again, the exact evidence found that identified these 5 suspects has not yet been made public, but what is assumed is the prior incidents involving Ahang and her cohorts, as well as Ahang's relationship with Dr. Murshidjai and potential motive. He's accused her of embezzling. They had a messy divorce. There's definitely motive there.
Yeah.
As well as surveillance footage and forensics at the scene, like fingerprints, DNA, ballistics evidence, and digital forensics, like phone records, emails, texts, search histories, social media activity. Literally every piece of tech we use to communicate leaves a trace, and they're scouring all of it. Led them to believe that these 5 were working together in service of Ahang's murder plot. There was certainly enough evidence to give investigators a warrant to raid her home. During the raid on Ahang Murshidjai's residence in Calabasas, law enforcement officials conducted a thorough search to gather evidence. Again, while specific details about the items seized have not been publicly disclosed, these operations are fairly standard and typically aim to uncover digital communications, phones, computers, tablets seized, financial records, both physical and digital. We're talking receipts, screenshots, timelines. And in
fucking everything.
And fucking everything. And in this case, they'd especially be looking for any receipts indicating payments to her accomplices to support the murder for hire charges, physical evidence, weapons, clothing worn during the crime, shoes that match footprint forensics, hair fibers that are consistent with evidence collected at the scene, etc. Like they just went top to bottom in this house and they're trying to comb everything.
That's wild. I don't know how they do that, collecting the trace evidence like that. It's so
honestly
incredible.
What blows my mind is this other category of evidence that they try to look for, which is associative materials. That's basically,
I guess that's what I meant. Yeah.
But that's not even the trace evidence. That's not like hair fibers. Like that's not that kind of stuff. This is like anything and everything that doesn't fall into the above categories, but indicates a connection to the crime and the other individuals involved in the case. So like, as a totally random example, say you're doing a raid on a home and there's like a membership card for a gym and it's the same gym that one of the other suspects belongs to. That's associated materials. There's a yearbook in the house where they're both pictured. They went to the same school. That's a connection. That's associative materials.
Cool.
Like, it's like, what don't you grab? You know, like they both subscribe to this magazine. Like what do you deem associative? You have to grab everything.
You have to be really creative about it too. Like you're basically like weaving stories, developing theories on the spot about like what could be connected to what.
Right, which obviously leaves room for bias, human error, so many things. But it's like that was a fascinating. I like didn't even think about that as part of these like evidence collection raids.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
Future topic.
Associated materials. Mm-hmm. So investigators clearly found what they needed because the raid was a significant component of Ahang Murshidai's arrest on charges of orchestrating the murder. Given the ongoing nature of the investigation and legal proceedings, detailed information about the evidence collected during the raid remains confidential, and that is very standard. Such details are typically withheld to preserve the integrity of the case and ensure a fair trial. So let's break down the charges that these folks are looking at, and I am obvi not a lawyer. So I got this breakdown from a law...
What?
I know. That was my big reveal of 2025. I'm so sorry for lying to you all for all these years. So I got this breakdown. Most of the rest of what I'm going to go over is from a law firm blogging about the case. I don't think that they have direct involvement in the case, but they're also in California and they're just following it very closely. So shout out to Brian Fagan, who basically has Bob Loblaw's law blog that I got this information from. So Ahang Murshidai, his ex-wife, she's 53 years old. She is charged with murder. Investigators believe she orchestrated the plot driven by years of animosity, financial disputes, and unresolved grievances stemming from their contentious 2010 divorce. Moreover, they allege that she hired individuals to execute the attack and potentially provided logistical support. Considering the depth of their legal and personal history, investigators view her involvement as the cornerstone of the conspiracy. Now, I think she will get more charges. I think this is just the charge that they had enough evidence to hold her and get the process started to take her to trial. But considering the fact that I think there's going to be conspiracy to commit murder, I think she's looking at murder, but not in the first degree because she like didn't actually pull the trigger. There's going to be a whole mess of charges that are going to come out.
Something with malice.
Yep. So, but for now, it's like we got her for murder. We're able to hold her. She's going to be going to trial. Sean Randolph, he's 46 years old. He faces murder charges as well, accused of being a key collaborator in the planning and execution of the plot. Authorities have not fully detailed his exact role, but his arrest alongside Ahang strongly suggests a high level of involvement. Additionally, investigators believe he may have played a key part in coordinating the logistics or connecting other conspirators. So he could have been the window to these other friends that were willing to carry this out.
The gateway gal.
And I think he had been involved in the baseball bat incident. So this is like a repeat situation. Mm-hmm. Evan Hardman, 41, he's the guy who fired the gun, as far as we know. Authorities have charged Hardman with murder and special circumstances, believing that he is the individual who pulled the trigger. Moreover, this accusation underscores his central role in the crime. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts reportedly place him at the scene of the crime where he ambushed Dr. Murshidai as he was leaving his clinic. The special circumstances charge indicates premeditation and may suggest financial incentives tied to the murder for hire scheme. So that's her going, I'll give you X $1,000 if you kill my husband. Those are the special circumstances.
And we don't know how Ahang knows Sean or any of these people at this point.
Not quite yet. I specifically searched to be like, were any of these people her fiance? Because I saw that thing about the fiance, her new fiance threatening him. Yeah. And there was nothing that would indicate that she was engaged or like sexually involved with any of these people. I feel like what it looks like to me is that she had a personal relationship with Sean Randolph and had like disclosed information to him about the troubles in her marriage. Again, I'm speculating wildly, but this is like what it looks like to me.
Because he maybe connected her to everyone else.
That's what the police or the investigation is saying, and that's what I understand to be true with the limited information that I have. And if he was connected to the baseball bat incident, then they'd have a history of like her reaching out to him and being like, "Can you go fuck up my husband?" Mm-hmm. And then it's like, "Well, I didn't get what I wanted when you guys just beat him up. Let's fucking kill him."
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
It shows like a clear line of communication that led to escalating behavior that brings us here now. It just makes sense that like this guy is a key component to how we fucking got here. So Sarala Jawed, she's 26, the youngest of the crew. I'm very curious how
26.
Yeah, I'm very curious how to find out how she got wrapped up in all of this.
Wow.
Authorities have charged her with murder with special circumstances, suspecting that this is a man. I am so sorry about that. My bad. Sarala Jawed is a man, not a woman. That's on me. I should have looked at that more meticulously. But there aren't even like photos of all the suspects that I could have cross-referenced. So I was just reading names through a Western lens. That's my bad. But authorities have charged him with murder with special circumstances, suspecting that he played a critical role in facilitating the murder. Furthermore, his alleged involvement highlights his significant contribution to the execution of the crime. I think, I'm so curious how this like young 26-year-old
20 fucking 6
got wrapped up in this. What like logistics maybe he was contributing to. There's so much that's going to come out at these trials that I'm very curious about. And then Ashley Rose Sweeting, she's 40, and authorities have charged her with accessory to murder, accusing her of driving Hardman, the shooter, to and from the crime scene by providing his direct logistical support. She allegedly played a key role in executing the plot. Consequently, her actions firmly link her to the conspiracy. So there's obviously a lot of evidence that she was also involved.
Yeah, there's so many people involved in this.
Yeah.
It's like enough that they've already been arrested and charged.
Yeah. And this just happened in August. So it's like there was obviously compelling evidence that they were quickly able to make arrests.
Dang.
Prosecutors are requesting that both Evan Hardman, the shooter, and Sarala Jawed, the 26-year-old, remain held without bail, citing their direct involvement in the crime. They argue that releasing either suspect poses significant risks, such as potential flight or harm to others. Jail records confirm that authorities are holding Jawed without bail, although his specific location remains undisclosed. Meanwhile, Hardman does not appear in the records, adding uncertainty about his custody status. However, his absence aligns with the high likelihood that he, too, is being held without bail due to his alleged central role in the murder, and it is probably also at an undisclosed location. They keep so much of this very buttoned up, and I think that they're expecting this to be a really high-profile case, which will affect jury selection. So they have to be so fucking careful. This is like a well-known doctor in California that like treated all these celebrities in fucking Detox.
I guess I didn't really know that they could just like not have people like inmates registered publicly. Like you can just disappear people.
Easily. It's creepy because that could easily be a tactic that's abused. And I also kind of get it because it's like you don't want press and a lot of, fucking podcasters like citizen detectives reaching out to these people and extracting potentially harmful, incorrect, problematic information before there's even been a trial date set or any kind of jury selection that could influence the public. Like, I get it.
It's just spooky.
It's just creepy. Yeah, it's really creepy.
It's very...
it's unsettling.
There's a blurred line between that for everyone's protection and, well, we don't know where they are.
Yep. I mean, people know where they are, but like it's not public information.
Yeah, I'm spiraling about the new administration just disappearing.
Oh, people. Yeah. That's super fair and very, very real and very scary.
Yeah.
Ashley Rose Sweeting was accused of driving Hardman to and from the crime scene, and she faces accessory to murder charges. Prosecutors initially requested a $1 million bail for her, emphasizing the substantial amount as a reflection of her critical role in the crime's logistics. Despite this, jail records show that she is now being held without bail at the Century Regional Detention Center. Notably, Sweeting has entered a plea of not guilty and is set to appear in court again on December 24th. That was when this was written. This court date may have been delayed. A lot of this has been, so that's kind of unclear. I don't know if she's like had her first court appearance yet. We'll kind of get to that. Authorities are currently holding Ahang Murshidjai and Mr. Randolph without bail, and they plan to present their cases to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office very soon. Meanwhile, the involvement of multiple individuals and the intricate nature of the alleged plot continue to raise questions about the underlying motives, which investigators are still examining. It's easy for us on the surface to like get this information, read Bob Loblaw's law blog and go, oh yeah, of course she would have motive to kill him. They had a messy divorce. She was embezzling money. But like, there's gonna be more and we just don't fucking know. We don't know until we know. So
you don't know how or who or when or why, really.
Yeah, until all of it comes out. And I hope it fucking does. Furthermore, officials have not yet discussed or disclosed how the suspects are linked or the specific roles each allegedly played in the crime. We're only getting the very like baseline. This was the shooter. This was a driver. These are co-conspirators. We haven't released how they know each other. Like, we have that information, but we're sitting on it until trial. As of now, a specific trial date for the individuals accused in the murder of Dr. Hamid Mirai has not been set. The legal proceedings are still in the preliminary stages. The arraignment for Ahang Mirai, who is the ex-wife, was initially scheduled for December 16th, 2024, but was postponed to Insurrection Day, January 6, 2025. But recent reports indicate that the arraignment had been further delayed, and now a new date hasn't been announced. So, like, this is legitimately happening right the fuck now.
Ugh.
We know that delays like this are not uncommon, and this case seems to have a lot of people involved, which means a lot of evidence to comb through and prepare for both the prosecution and the defense.
Yeah,
and
a lot
it doesn't
of
look
coordination from all these attorneys too.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't. I haven't seen anything that indicates that they will be tried together. So we could be watching this unfold with 5 different trials for 5 different people for years. I mean,
oh my God,
there's no telling how long this could take. But one place you can get like reliable ongoing updates would be the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office website, because they're handling the court side of this case. So like, if you are interested in following it, I sure as shit I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, because it's very weird and I'm very curious like what's going to come out about all of this. But that would be my recommendation, is to just keep tabs on the LA District Attorney's Office for updates on this case.
Google alerts for both of these cases.
Seriously, Molly, you're giving us things we love, which is like speculation and discussion, but things we hate, which is like no neat little bow wrap up. It's hard to write cases like this because we're used to going like way back into the archives where there's so much information, even if it's not a super popular case that's been covered a million times. And so, I mean, I've got like a bunch of different articles that just kind of say the same thing over and over again. And I'm very grateful to this law firm blog that like broke down each piece kind of with less of the legalese.
Yeah.
So that I could get kind of like what your
TrinaHunt.com
victim family website was, so that we can have a clearer indication of like what do we know and what is going on and what's public and what isn't.
Yeah.
So it's a weird situation, but here we are.
Yeah. Despite not having as much information about either of these cases as we would like, they're out there. And as far as Trina's case goes, it's still technically unsolved. And yeah, if you have any information about maybe some helpful evidence about either one of these cases,
come forward.
Come step forward. Thank you so much for listening to our episode today. Thank you again to Molly Walker for your fan pick.
God bless. I'm ready to detox.
I'm ready to detox too. So let's do that, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.